Hi fellow reefers, I'm Eddie of Eddie's Reef Aquaria. Today's video is going to be simply like, shall we call it an update of the tank, how the corals are evolving and all that. And also I got two more acquisitions from Worldwide Corals. I got a Yuma and I got a Japanese tutsto, which is over here. They're very small frags, but you know, I got them at a reasonable price, and then I watch them to grow to be beautiful corals. So this video is simply just going to be about that. I'm going to introduce you to the other two corals that I just mentioned, and then just take a walk around on what's been going on with the reef. So hold on one second. Okay, and this is the first new coral that I purchased. This is called a Ricordia Yuma, or a mushroom Yuma. It's gorgeous. This is a very small frag. The ones that I saw there, they were practically almost full size. They're, I would say, the size a little bigger than an actual quarter. But this is just a little frag of it, and it's a beautiful coral. These Yumas, before I go into detail, as you know me, people that follow me, I go into each individual coral when I purchase it. But at least I will tell you that these Yumas, they come from the Pacific Ocean, not from the Caribbean. In other words, not from the Atlantic Ocean. But this is one of the new corals that I actually got. Very small, but when this guy starts to grow, wow. It's a gorgeous coral, a gorgeous mushroom Yuma. I've seen them there at Worldwide Corals, fully grown and in other rocks. So they are very nice looking. So let's go to the other coral. Now this other new acquisition, this is a Japanese tutsto. I've been hearing about this and I've been doing my own little research. And this is a hot item now in the reef. It's very popular and it's getting a lot of recognition. The Japanese leather, or shall we call it the Japanese tutsto. They have a couple of them on the back tank when you go to the Winter Park store, and they're beautiful. I mean, again, this is just a little frag, but when they really grow, the tentacles are like whipping willow. I mean, they're very elongated. And if you look at the grand opening of the Winter Park store, which you actually see me there about halfway on the tank where I put my thumbs up, okay, right before you see me on the grand opening with Lou, the COO of Worldwide Corals, you're going to notice that they pan to a tank on the left-hand side. Okay, there, if you look at that tank closely and you pause it, you'll actually see this Japanese leather, Japanese tutsto. You'll see it on that actual tank, and then on the one in the back. So this is another acquisition that I made this past weekend. And now when it came to the Stylopora, well, the other, matter of fact, yesterday when I was cleaning the tank, it unglued, not that it unglued from the plug, but actually unglued from the actual rock work. And I went ahead, I glued it back, and I changed the configuration, the way that it was looking. But this, let me remind you, if you go back to my previous videos, this was just a purple stylo, two heads. And now if you look at it closely, each head has produced other heads. So now apparently this stylo has actually taken off and is doing phenomenal, is doing great. Now here we are looking at that Spongotus. The Spongotus, part of it is like brownish, it's like coming back in color. But if you look closely at this part here, this section here, it's starting to actually grow over the plug. So that's a good sign. There is a growth pattern. And then on the right hand side, the frog span, it's actually grown more. I believe it. I haven't checked at it, to be honest with you. When the lights go down, as you know, these corals, they tend to retract. I haven't seen that, but I have a feeling that there's another head that has actually formed because it has grown a lot too. Matter of fact, you can see on the right lower part of that coral how certain protrusions of the actual coral are coming out. Now the Montipora, the one right over here, right there, that one I went ahead and I glued it sideways. It's getting more light, so it'll start to grow and grow and elongate. It's an actual cap, and so it'll cover hopefully that section as we speak, but it'll take a time. And of course, here we have the Nepia or Cineleria. If you go back on my videos, you will see that it's grown, I would say, about close to double the actual size. Now, you can barely see it from this angle, but there is a tie rod on it. And if I go to the side, which I'll probably take a side shot, you'll see that there's other sections that loop out from the actual coral, and you'll see that eventually you won't see the tie rod. And down here we have the green slimer. It's doing phenomenal, it's doing great. No changes, but these corals, they'll take a while to actually grow and extend. As you see those protrusions that you see on the coral, those eventually will start to grow out and grow and grow and grow. And this chalice is doing great. I don't see too much growth pattern on it yet. There is some growth taking off on it, but again, some corals you might not visually see it, but all corals actually are always in the process of growing, but some, they're very noticeable, others aren't. And now we have the cloth polyps. They're doing great. They're starting to extend. When I bought it originally, it was 3 heads, these 3. Well, if you notice down here, there's another head that's about to start, and they throw like a spaghetti type of root, and from there you get more. So very healthy, very happy. And here we have the zoos that I bought way back. I think it was like 2 or 3 heads, and look at it now. It's spreading all over that actual rock. I do need to get some others, but really I'm not into zoos. But eventually I will have to get, or I should get some, like let's say on this section here, to put like a variation of them, like here and going towards the back. Then here on the lower left side, you're looking at the Lobo and then the photosynthetic Gorgonia, which I had moved it back there to give it a certain effect. Both are doing great. Again, you might not notice growth, but all corals are always in the process of growing. And of course, the Hollywood Stunner, a recent acquisition. If you look closely, you can actually see feelers that are protruding on the edge. It's actually feeding as we speak. And then here on this shot, starting from left to right on the back, as you notice, the candy cane, yes, it's got 3 heads. Any moment it will start to elongate one of the heads, and then it will close up like I've explained before, and then we'll have 4 heads. Going next to the pink Ghanian pora is doing phenomenal. It's opened up, it's very happy. And if you look closely, in between, to look at the signs of health is that in between on the root of each of those protrusions, those tentacles, you're going to notice that there's little heads coming out, and that's an excellent sign. And then the green one, a recent acquisition, is still in the process of acclimation. It took like a couple of weeks for the pink one to actually look close to what it looks now, but it is starting to elongate and elongate. It takes a while. Okay, now here on the front section, the favia, or shall we call it the brain coral, it keeps growing to the side and also vertically. It's growing higher and higher. And then to the right of it, the yellow submarine favia, there's, again, like I said before, it doesn't show to the human eye growth, but trust me, it is growing. And it's very healthy, it's happy. Now the Recordia, as you recall, it was 1 head, and then it split into two. It's doing very well. It's happy. I haven't moved it around. Sometimes it moves, or the pin cushion urgent actually moves it around a little bit. It rotates it a little bit, but I've left it as it is. And if you notice that little green neon, that's the actual mouth of it, and it's protruding out. It's elongating, a sign that it's happy and it's feeding. Okay, now here in this shot, what I'm showing you is the non-photosynthetic Gorgonia, and then next to it on the right, then you have the flower anemone. Both are doing fine. The Gorgonia, the polyps on out, because you know it usually feeds. It knows when there's food around. Now what I've done is I'm trying to pull back the feeding regimen because I am getting a little bit of algae on the glass, which is normal on all tanks, but I'm noticing a little spike on it, and also on the rocks. Although, as you must be aware, I have 2 pin cushion sea urchins. I have a cleanup crew, but still sometimes I'm noticing that with the toothbrush dedicated to the tank, I have to be cleaning and cleaning. And of course, one of the factors would be more nutrient import than actually the export. So I'm trying to see if I can get away when it comes to this Gorgonia. Instead of feeding it 3 times a week, feed it twice a week. So what I did in the regimen of this week, I went ahead and Monday I fed it Phytofeast by Reef Nutrition. Now tomorrow, Thursday, I'll go ahead and feed the Reefroids by Polylab. Now these 2 foods, of course, is broad fed. All the corals will benefit, but instead of 3 times a week, see if I can go down to twice a week. And when it comes to the rock anemone, I'm target feeding it the Reefroids, but also like once a week, I bought at the local grocery store, I bought 2 little regular shrimps, and what I do is I throw out a little piece and I give it with these tweezers that I have for the tank. I give it, and wow, you should see that. One day I'm going to go ahead and film it, where you go ahead and immediately it grabs it, it actually closes, and it takes in the little piece of shrimp. And now when it comes to the acans, if you recall in my previous videos, I had it like around here, but it kept expanding and opening, and then it would touch the actual rock there. So what I did is I moved it to the back, and wow, it's happier, it's extended more, and it's doing great. Okay, now this is a side shot, and I thought I'd explain, and with this view you can see it better when it came to the tie rod on the Japanese leather, that eventually you won't see it. And here's an example. Okay, here, when I got this one, this Nephthia or Cineraria, whichever you want to call it, if you see, there's the tie rod. Now, this little protrusion of the coral wasn't that great. It was just about here. Now, as the coral grew and it's growing, that's another branch that's growing out. So if you look at it, you really have to really put your eyes into it, but you can barely see the tie rod. And then eventually, as it grows more and more, it will actually practically become invisible. Now here, I went ahead and I gave you a shot of the Montipora plate. This is a side shot as we speak. I don't see too much growth on it, but as I briefly stated before, all corals are always in the process of growing. Some might be to the naked eye and others not. Well, and there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the Nuvo 40 and the new 2 acquisitions and how the corals are doing. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. And right next to the subscription, there's a little bell, hit that. That's the notification. So every time I upload a video, which is usually weekly, you'll be the first ones to know that I uploaded a video. And like I say at the end of all of my videos, happy reefing. Thank you for watching. I hope all of you are keeping safe. And until next time, bye-bye.